Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel's Strike Force. Today is Tuesday, or at least by the time you're watching this video, it will be that. And that means later on today, we have the official release of Hercules coming to the game. And this is going to be a pretty important one. And so we have of course, the Should You core video here of whether or not you should be spending your well-earned power cores on Hercules. There's going to be more than one reason as to why you're going to want to consider this. We're also going to do a deep dive on the character kit for those of you who have forgot, because, they kind of released this information a long time ago. A lot of people don't check up on the kits, and we'll be taking a look at his stats as well. So all that and more in today's video. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. All right, so the first thing I want to do in the video is let's talk about Hercules' stats. Normally, this doesn't matter that much. However, I did notice that when we did Jean Grey, her armor stat was pretty low. And I am actually noticing this in the Spotlight raid. So that is something. So let's take a look. This is arranged by, let's zoom in and touch. This is arranged by health. So it looks like Hercules is already, I can see him right in the top 10, which is good. He has 8 million health. The number doesn't matter that much. So we're at like 3 diamonds, purple 3. But anyways, he is equivalent to Gladiator in the health department. And that's pretty good. And if you look at the power, actually, like a maxed out Gladiator is like not even 1 million. Hercules is about 1.1. So stats across the board seem to be pretty good. Now that's on the health side of things. So he is a protector character. He doesn't exactly taunt. I don't think he taunts. We'll take a look at the kit, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't. As far as damage goes, he's in the top 10 as well. Now, he has pretty much the same damage stat as Ares, Oath, Lady Deathstrike, Medusa, and so on and so forth. Scarlet Witch, Falcon, so a lot of other characters. But it is still pretty high as far as the damage stats concerned. His armor, also in the top 10, actually, in Hercules is number 6, 7, and 8, alongside Ares and Cable. For some reason, I had no idea Cable's armor stat was that high. But it's pretty good. So far, we're all within the top 10. His focus, not in the top 10. Oh, no, it is. Sorry, my bad. My mistake. It is actually right there at number 1. It was so high that I actually missed that. That's probably what's shooting up his power score a fair bit, because that is quite substantial. Like, the second highest is Vision. I didn't know that either. And wow, that's quite a crazy stat. As far as his resist goes, though, this is not in the top 10, but that's fine. He is number 32. This one is a little bit surprising. So alongside Vision and some of the other rework characters as well. But yes, more in the 30s. So I guess where Jean Grey was in the 30s with armor, Hercules is that way with resistance. So I guess it's not that high. And where he lands in speed, I don't expect him to be that fast. Where are you, Hercules? Number 44 at 126 speed with the same speed stat as like Oath, Silver Surfer, Lizard, Icarus, Nova, Moonstone, Firestar, etc. There's a lot of people bulked up at speed 126. So overall, pretty good stats, though, if you are looking to get him early. Let's take a look at his kit, though. So he is a Hero Global, Mystic, Protector, Mighty Avengers, and Uncanny Avengers. So what's the number one reason that you're going to want Hercules? Is for the raids. No doubt. It's for the raids, for Uncanny Avengers, for Spotlight Raid 2. However, there is some upcoming usages for him that we're going to talk about. Mighty Avenger is kind of what I call it, the secondary use, right? You're same with Jean Grey. It's Crucible and raids. Hercules is raids and Alliance War, specifically War Offense. We're going to take a look at his kit. So his basic is kind of basic, 320%. But what's really interesting is that his basic also is a permakill. And I think that there hasn't been a lot of opportunities to use the Striker ISO on the Uncanny Avengers team. I actually think that despite how kind of boring this is, I think it might be a good opportunity for the Striker ISO the same way that Black Bolt is. Because if you do kill somebody with a safety attack, I did check it in the JSON files, that it is a permakill as well. So there might be some value here in PvP. Because this is an all-game mode. So if you do end up using Hercules elsewhere, this could be a reason why you want to give him a Striker ISO. His special attack, Olympian Slam, is target and primary and adjacent for 420, plus 100% drain. This will probably be more noticeable at higher stars because it'll obviously do more damage and the drain will be more effective. Defense down for 1 turn, ability block and disrupt for 1 turn to the primary target, and then it buffs the whole team, all allies, regardless of team affiliation, for 2 turns. I kind of wish this was first because I do like it sometimes when there's certain skills where it does the offense up first and then does the damage. That's a little bit unfortunate, the order of operations here. Flip all negatives into positives, again, happens after the damage. I would have loved if all of this stuff happens before the damage, but that's just me. And then 300% extra focus, like he apparently doesn't even need it because his focus stat is crazy high anyways. His abilities are fairly high cooldown, so this won't be an issue in raids. I guess it's not a big issue in war offense because you're kind of one and done. But anyways, Labor of Strength is ultimate, is on like a Jesus 3, 6, 8 energy. So yeah, I don't think you're getting back around a second time within the same battle outside of war anyway, or in raids you will, because not in the same battle. But anyways, moving on. Offense up for 2 turns. I do like this. So it is going first with the buff, and then it's doing the damage, which is piercing and drain, and then reducing speed bar on the primary target by 20. It's not that much though. Like, it should be AoE for 20% at this point because he's chucking the rock. He's chucking it at everyone. It should be everyone should be getting 20%. But hey, it is at least unavoidable. Now his passive is a book. I'm not going to go through it entirely. The main things that you need to know is that essentially this part, all of this stuff here. So essentially, whenever anyone takes a turn, both in raids and in war offense, they steal buffs from the character that is the primary target. So if you're targeting a character with your skill, it's going to do that. It's going to steal that from all of the buffs, charges, all of that stuff, clear revive once, and then it's going to copy it to you. Now, we're going to have to see how that actually works in practice, make sure that it's not busted. Also, in war offense, he gets safeguard to 2 turns to all self and Mighty Avengers, and in raids as well to the Uncanny Avengers team. This part, I'm not exactly sure what this is intended to do. Maybe I didn't take a closer look at the raid nodes. But yeah, basically it fills speed bar itself and Almighty Avenger and Uncanny Avenger allies by 20% if there's 3 or more Mystic enemies. I haven't taken a close look at the nodes, the raid nodes. Maybe this happens more frequently, but yeah. And also in raids and war offense with the full team, can't fill speed bar for self or allies. The enemies cannot do that and all that stuff. And then 300% focus, which explains why his focus is absolutely through the roof. And the team gets it too. So that's pretty insane. That you don't need, once you have him, you do not need any skirmishers at all on the team, pretty much. So my thoughts. Oh, actually, let's really quick. We go to his gear as well. Just when you start to gear him up, make sure that you have the resources available to you because his unique is going to be Crimson Prometheum. It's the same as like Namor. I'm trying to. Is there a more recent character? Doctor Strange, I think, was Prometheum if you geared him up for Astral, I believe, as far as the other characters available to that. But he's a fairly simple build. He is a Mystic character. Do keep that in mind, and you have the Mystic gear to upgrade him to gear tier 18 or 19 or however high you build him. Now, the biggest question is why. Let's start with the first question. Why do you need him? Spotlight Raid 2, right? So this starts also later on today. And you do need, so Spotlight 2 Strike is starting today, and you do need the full 5 Uncanny Avengers. That means you need Jean Grey unlocked, who is not available yet, free to play. However, there is an event for Jean Grey coming next week. So next Monday's event is called Mental Mastery. There is a free-to-play event coming for Jean Grey, but if you want to get started on these Spotlight 2 Strike nodes now or today, you need to have both Jean and Hercules unlocked. It's really important. And of course, just like the other ones, you do need Purple ISO 3 at D2. Now, for me and my alliance, we probably will start moving back up to difficulty 2 because I think the Uncanny Avenger nodes will be easier to run with Hercules. Now, that does mean that you need the Purple 3 requirement, but it was really difficult. The nodes were very challenging on manual even. With 4 characters because a lot of the raid text wasn't active without the full team. I think if you do have Hercules and you do have the full team, it'll be a lot easier to run this, possibly even send this as well when it comes to D2, but we'll see about that as well. But anyways, I just wanted to give people a little bit of a heads up about what's around the corner. Now, the other thing I want to talk about as to why you might want Hercules now or within the next week or so, which is going to be before his free-to-play event, is about something that's coming up next. So Phoenix and the Phoenix Force team, aka the Omega Red, you might have seen this on one of the Envoy videos that there's a new Kiln Tower coming back for the unlock event of Omega Red Dark Phoenix. So there's going to be 20 floors of Kiln Tower, which is going to require, a lot of it is going to require Uncanny Avengers. So there's going to be different traits for different floors. And basically it's going to be X-Men, Avengers, and then there's going to be X-Men and Avengers. And the Uncanny Avenger team covers this in full, pretty much, because all of the X-Men characters are also Avengers. And then you can use Beast, Storm, and Jean Grey for the X-Men section if you wish, because you're having to purple ISO these characters anyways. And then for the Avenger section, you're going to want to use basically the new characters. Hercules, they've made it so all of the text that's related to the number of characters that you need, because keep in mind that Kiln is a 3-person event, that all of this is going to get scrapped, and you can, not scrap, but you can use it without the full team. That's what we've been told. We'll see whether or not it works out in practice or not. That's going to be a pretty big deal. But Kiln Tower is coming around, where I think that honestly, the best 3 characters, at least for the Avengers section, is going to be Hercules, Jean Grey, and Beast. You'll just use different characters from this team for specifically the Avengers section and the X-Men section. But this is going to be the biggest crossover, because Falcon and Hercules are not X-Men characters. So you're going to have to use like these 3, and then Beast, Jean, and Hercules. You're going to want to do that for the other ones. So that means that getting an early unlock on Hercules, being able to build them up early, is really going to help you for Kiln Tower, and thus also get Omega Red Dark Phoenix. So there's a lot of other reasons as to why I think that you should unlock Hercules early. I think it's going to be really, really important to not only your raid progression for your alliance, but it is going to also be really important for unlocking Omega Red Dark Phoenix in like probably about 2 weeks time. I think this is when they said that it was going to be. So yeah, there's some really good stuff coming around the bend. And, I understand that not everyone is going to have the power cores to be able to save up for this, especially if you did unlock Jean Grey. I've been hoarding my power cores basically for, I've been hoarding it since like early December, I think, when I knew these characters were coming. So kind of finally working on that now. The other thing I want to talk about in this video is the Mighty Avengers. Now, I'm not on the test server, right? The Envoy test server and things like that. So I don't know how good this team is going to be. A lot of this upgrades I've already done previously. Invisible Woman, I think I did for Frozen Dimension for some reason. And then Scarlet Witch and Vision, I already had it like 90. I went a little bit further just for shits and giggles. I think this team is going to be good in war if you care about war offenses. As far as like the best team to use against that, I can't tell you. I'm not like the best person to ask when it comes to Alliance War stuff. But there is going to be a lot of value in Hercules alone. It depends on if you have these characters built. If you are skipping the wider Mighty Avengers, I think it is skippable. Honestly, I think that if you don't have Scarlet Witch, Vision, and Invisible Woman upgraded, I think they are skippable probably at this time. I don't think that you're absolutely going to need them for upcoming content, because we have other war teams that I think are, including Absolute A-Force, which is also going to be used in the Kiln Tower, and also Liberty, right? Which I've unveiled that is going to be a war team, but I've also unveiled the kits, which you can see. I released that video on Saturday if you want to take another look at those as well. I think that team is going to be more focused on war defense. They probably will be usable on both sides, but very sustain heavy team. So my point is that if you haven't upgraded some of these characters, namely Invisible Woman and Scarlet Witch and Vision, I would probably just hold back from now, especially if you're a late mid-game player who's struggling with your resources, right? If you caught my video from yesterday talking about the end of my baby account, then you'd know that there's a huge struggle when it comes to training modules. So I wouldn't blame you if you decide to skip leveling this war team. Again, I have no idea if it's going to like take out Mephisto or anything like that. So I would take everything with a grain of salt. Nonetheless, Hercules is going to be very important for the upcoming content. A lot of upcoming content, actually. So let's talk about my consensus here. Should you core for Hercules? Yes, I think you should. I think that he's going to be very required. You need him anyways. You're going to be using him for the next year for Spotlight Raid 2 and probably 3 at this point. So you're going to get a lot of value out of him. And I think unlocking him early is going to help your alliance progress very early, because you're going to need to keep doing those Spotlight Raid 2 nodes if you want to keep going in the Spotlight. This is me from the weekend, so yeah, that's when I'm recording this video. But if you want to keep getting, upwards to milestone 19 and 20, you're going to have to be able to do those Uncanny Avenger nodes that gives the bulk of those points. Because if you don't have the full 5 members of the team, then you're not going to be able to do any of the nodes. So that's my consensus for Hercules. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Are you going to be unlocking Hercules, or are you going to be waiting for the free-to-play event? I can't tell you when that's going to be. Could be the February month-long event, in which case you could be waiting a little while because we don't really have any more information other than that. That's the end of this video, everyone. I hope you have a good rest of the day. And of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.